Alright. Hit a little clip earlier talking about the new gear. But yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, surfing mentality and philosophy. And I think when you first hear about spiritual connection and how it applies to surfing and like how it can make you a better surfer, it seems kind of like kooky, you know, like to the layperson, like to somebody who doesn't surf that much or maybe isn't about the surf life, or like maybe they're a little bit more technical and scientific. It might not make sense to them how spirituality applies to surfing. I heard some people, well, I was watching, what was it called? The one with Keanu Reeves in it. Surf movie with Keanu Reeves. 40-Year Storm, you know. What the heck was it called? Whatever. I was watching that with my roommate and his brother at our place in San Francisco. And his brother was just having a good old laugh at all the spirituality stuff that, you know, they were talking about.
It's a state of mind. It's that place where you lose yourself and you find yourself. You don't know it yet, but you got it. It's right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's you know, it's an older movie. They have some kind of cheesy moments, but you know, as I progressed through my surfing, I found that it really does matter to me to have that connection with the ocean, because you know, growing up, my dad used to take me and my brother to the beach all the time. We used to go diving and fishing, you know, boogie boarding. You just go and spend time in the ocean and around the ocean. It's kind of funny because I didn't really do a lot of hiking because I was mostly in the ocean. So when I got to college, all of my friends wanted to hike because, you know, they're into that. And they were like surprised when I told them I had never been hiking before. But anyways, yeah, I think when I stopped spearfishing, I stopped kind of going to the ocean that much. I was focusing more on studying and getting good grades in school so that I could get a good job. Yeah, I think I kind of lost touch with nature, and to me that connection is really important. It like takes away part of who I am when I'm not in and around nature, when I'm not in and around the ocean, when I'm not in and around you know, plants and just outdoors in general. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of a, you know, study-holic, shut-in or whatever for a while. But yeah, I think getting into rock climbing really helped me reestablish that nature connection. And with surfing, it really, you know, I didn't surf that much when I was a kid because I was kind of scared of like hitting the coral, and scared of if there were sharks in the water, and scared of the surfers because they're scary, you know. Surfers get angry and territorial. So it's a pretty rough world to try and get yourself established in. And I kind of shied away from that. So yeah, when I moved out to the Bay Area looking for a job, the crew that I got set up with and the guys that let me in, they were all surfers, pretty much. Some of them were rock climbers. So when I started hanging out, I was just rock climbing with them, and they invited me to go surfing. And I looked at the ocean and I was like, you guys are fucking crazy. The water here is like freezing cold, and there's, Hawaii doesn't have great whites, but California does. So I was like even more scared to get in there. But one day they asked me, and I was like, fuck it. We go rent a wetsuit. They gave me a fucking they gave me a wave storm. I never rode a wave storm before that. They gave me a wave storm, and I was like, all right, this is like the kook board. The kook board. And I mean, really, I wanted to go out and experience it at least once. And they took me to Rockaway, which is, it's next to that super classic Bay Area spot Pacifica, but it's like one cove over, behind the rocks. And that day, I think it was pretty cold. The waves were choppy. It was windy. But I paddled out with them. My paddling was pretty terrible because I wasn't in shape. I hadn't paddled anything in a while. But whatever, they wanted to see what I could do, and I knew that I could catch a wave and stand up on it and ride it a little bit. And I think they were kind of impressed, or maybe they weren't. But yeah, I mean, first sesh out, I caught probably like 3 or 4 waves, and stood up and rode them. I mean, I'm pretty sure I rode them straight, and I was like wobbling around, but whatever. I got hit on the head by cold water for the first time, and that was an experience. Basically, what you get from that is like, I think mainlanders call it ice cream headache, but here we call it we call it brain freeze. Basically, I got brain freeze from getting hit on the head by fucking cold water for like half an hour, and then I couldn't even. I was so dizzy, and like I felt like I was gonna pass out. I just like paddled in, and I was like standing on the shore shivering and just sitting down watching everybody else surf. And I was like, how the fuck do these guys do this all the time? But yeah, it was funny. I stood on the shore watching for a while, and then I went to go shower off, and I talked to this guy who was getting out of the water, and I told him, I was like, how do you guys handle this? Like, I basically got a brain freeze, and I don't think I could survive. And he just told me that it's like that for the first couple of sessions. Like, your body will just get used to it. It'll get accustomed to being in the cold. And yeah, so he was right. I went out a couple more times, and I think on the third sesh, like it didn't affect me anymore. Getting hit on the head with the cold water. And I think from there I was kind of hooked. I remember when the session I finally bought a wetsuit. We we took a trip down to Santa Cruz, and I bought a Quicksilver. What was it? I think it's a 5mm or something like that. Yeah. It was a 5mm. Wait, 3. Yeah, I think 5.4, something like that. But yeah, I didn't want to be cold at all, so I bought this thick ass wetsuit, and I was like struggling to paddle out, but I was happy because my body didn't feel cold anymore. Like I wasn't shivering. There weren't holes in the suit. So I finally was able to just go out and have a fairly comfortable surf sesh. And yeah, from there the rest is history. I'll gladly tell a lot more of my surf adventure in another video, but getting back to that topic of spiritual connection with the ocean, I think I was missing that connection that I used to have as a kid. Like I remember feeling like, even though I was cold and uncomfortable during the times when we would go diving for like several hours, I still felt like the ocean was my home. Like when I go in the ocean, that felt like it feels like that's where I belong. So funny enough, it's the same Pacific Ocean on the west coast in California. And when I started surfing there, it just, it's a lot different there. There's kelp, and there's sea lions and otters and pelicans and all kinds of seagulls. And the water's cold and it's dark and it's dirty sometimes, but it's still, I could still feel home in the ocean. So as I was going on my surf journey, I kept that in the back of my mind. Anytime I felt like scared, anytime I felt the waves were too big, or anytime I felt like, oh, it's too cold today, like shivering the whole time, why am I out here? I kept thinking like, one day it's gonna feel comfortable. One day it's gonna feel right, because this is my home. This is where I belong. And yeah, I kept with that attitude, and I feel like even though I wasn't really that good at catching the waves and riding them, it helped me stick with it, and it helped me progress, because I kept that idea of home in there, and like how being in the ocean connects my heart to nature. Yeah, I mean, hearing the sounds of the waves breaking, smelling the salt and, I don't know, the algae in the ocean, looking out at the horizon, waiting for the waves, watching the sunset, and yeah, all of that stuff that I remember doing as a kid, it was bringing it all back, albeit in a different place, on a different coast, and kind of in an entirely different world, but it was all there. And yeah, I kept surfing for many months, and finally it was time to take a break from California and come back to Hawaii, come chill with the family for the holidays. Yeah, I came back, and that first time I paddled out, oh, it was unreal. First time I paddled out back in Hawaii, I think I was at like Waikiki or like Rock Piles or something. But I was just sitting out there looking at the waves, feeling it was funny because I had been wearing a wetsuit for so long. The water touched my ankles, my calves and my shin, and I was like, oh, this feels weird. It was like tickling me, and I got in the water, and it was weird having the water touch my skin again. But wow, I really felt that connection, like to my true home, to the home that I was born in, that I grew up in. The ocean that I played in as a kid. It was like I finally had this like real connection, like one that I wasn't just a spectator to. Finally like actually surfing in Hawaii, it just felt right. It finally felt right. It felt like I belonged. I felt like I was finally welcome in the lineup because I wasn't dropping in on people accidentally anymore. Like I knew what I was doing now. And I just remember that session, I was just out there looking at the city, looking at the mountains, watching the clouds drift over the valleys, looking out at the freaking sunset. It was a fire sunset that day, and I was looking at all of it and taking in the feelings, and I was like, why the fuck did I leave here? Why the fuck did I leave? Like, I think I didn't know what I was missing because I didn't have that surfing connection. And funny enough, I had to like leave Hawaii and start surfing in the cold North California ocean. And it took all of that journey, all of that struggling, and like the waves out there aren't that good all the time. So you're like really, some days you're really struggling to get a good wave. But yeah, all of that struggle, it was what made me finally appreciate Hawaii. Finally appreciate the surf in Hawaii, where I grew up. And that sense of belonging that I finally have it's invaluable. I feel like no matter how much money I spent trying to live life and make it out there in NorCal, is worth it. And the rest of that story is for another time, because we just got to the surf break and we're gonna go have a little shred sesh. And yeah, shoots. Thank you for listening.